Hello, boys and girls, and heathens all around. Comrade Dankey here, and today we are looking once again in our investigation into my past, the Southern Baptist Church, and just how horrible these folks really are. And this website from the Houston Chronicle, kudos to these guys, produced this database where you can search by state. And so I entered in my state of Tennessee because I wanted to see if any of these folks were pastors that I had met. And it says in Tennessee, 16 Southern Baptist Church officials and volunteers were convicted of sex abuse crimes over 20 years. So I'm just looking at them. Larry Michael Berkeley, Gregory Stanley Dempsey, Timothy Neil Byers. I don't know any of those guys. Don't know any of those guys. Don't know any of those guys. Or these guys. Or these guys, I don't think. This guy might... I don't know. It would be a little on the young side. I would be a little bit too young, I think, to remember this. But it does have an attached news story to it. And this is, in my area. John Colton Jr. approved the settlement sentencing Haney to probation for 8 years, adding his name to Tennessee Sex Offender Registry. Stephen C. Haney, 48, pastor of Walnut Grove Baptist Church in the Memphis suburb of Cordova, Tennessee, for over 20 years before his resignation in December 2006, pleaded guilty April 29th to rape and sexual battery by an authority figure in a settlement intended to allow victims and their families to avoid the stress of testifying. Wow. So he's getting people like testifying in court to courts about like crimes, and this fucking guy lures them into his house and then rapes them. On charges that he sexually abused two teenage boys, has avoided prison for now. Because Southern Baptist churches are autonomous, they make their own decisions about hiring and firing ministers. The SBC offers guidelines protecting against sexual abuse, including a link to the National Sex Offender Database. Let's see. They only list those convicted of a crime, and the vast majority of molestations are never prosecuted. Yeah, duh. That's what I said in my last video. It's like most molestations are never even... accusations are never even brought forth against it because of the shame. The shame these kids feel, and they feel too ashamed to come forward about it. And oftentimes when they do, it's decades later, and it's too late. The statute of limitations and all that. But this guy, I want to say he has been a guest pastor at a church I've been at. Walnut Grove Baptist, I never went there, but I do live sort of near that area. And so he, I'm pretty darn sure I've seen him before. His face looks very, very, very familiar. I'm pretty sure he has come to our church or one of the churches I went to in the past. I've attended about 7 Southern Baptist churches over my short life. And I'm pretty sure this guy was a guest pastor at least at some point. So thank you, Houston Chronicle, for, that. Is he still... I don't know if he's still even around. But yeah. And then at the very top, there is trouble at the top. This is also from Houston Chronicle. It says 6 former leaders of the Southern Baptist Convention have directly dealt with allegations of sexual abuse or misconduct involving their church, their employees, or themselves. Now, this is a local guy. This is a dude from Memphis here. Steve Gaines, SBC president, 2016. He's a pastor from Bellevue Baptist Church, which is a giant fucking mega church, huge church. 2006 admits waiting 6 months to fire pastor who confessed to molestations. You waited 6 months. Why the long wait, friend? That was 6 months he could have been molesting more people. An internal investigation finds the church was ill prepared for sexual abuse. So, I mean, there's no fucking telling what's happening at Bellevue, folks. But yeah, this guy is local to me. He's a fucking piece of shit. He's a corrupt hypocrite. Any bad name in the book. It wouldn't surprise me if he fucking covered up molestation allegations in his church. Doesn't surprise me at all. But yeah, thank you, Houston Chronicle, for this database. A known problem. I mean, ooh, Jesus, look at this guy. John Neil Force, a registered sex offender. He attacked a 14-year-old inside Second Baptist Church in 94. I mean, I'm thinking back to my childhood. Young Dankey could have been predatorized by a fucking creep like this. It's really quite disturbing. But as you can see, these guys have a shit ton of money under them. These guys are just crazy rich. This denomination's crazy rich. If they wanted to, they could make a fucking database. They don't give a shit. Former SBC President Paige Patterson speaks to the Southern Baptist Convention, San Antonio, 2007. Last year, Patterson was ousted as head of a Fort Worth seminary for his mishandling of reports of rapes made by female students. Let's see, Paige Patterson. Let's go there and look up, let's go to YouTube and look up Paige Patterson, because I want to see him give a sermon.
Good morning.
So let's just listen to this little fucktard for 2 seconds. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call him a fucktard. Try not to use the tard thing anymore. I understand it's disrespectful. I don't have any kind of ill will towards people who suffer mental illness. Heck, I count myself among them, in all seriousness, and so I do apologize. But going on, we listened to this brilliant genius, this keen mind, this just master, this great pastor talk at a local church that I pass by this church often, Bellevue Baptist.
Morning to you, Bellevue flock. Welcome to Seminary Day at Bellevue.
Ugh.
We are.
Look at this slime ball. Oh my god. I'm having fucking PTSD childhood flashbacks, you guys. I can't listen to these dudes for very long. I can't. I gotta
begin reading in just a moment with verse 17.
Shut up, man. You read from your stupid fucking book. We get it.
Everything in life.
So this guy,
he had been up to the task.
This guy is facing a lot of scrutiny because he basically covered up sex abuse cases in his church, and he's gonna lecture you all on how to be a good, clean Christian man, and why you should all put money in that offering plate for him. So I can't listen to him anymore. Let's listen to this guy.
What in the world makes
Paige Patterson objectifies a 16-year-old. Uh-oh.
That's a beautiful word, value bend. And that's the word he uses to describe only the creation of woman. He value bend you. It means to beautifully and artistically construct.
This guy's creepy as fuck,
And I
dude.
didn't need to learn Hebrew to figure that out either.
Oh, God.
And so that's what he says,
This guy
beautifully and
sends fucking chills up my
artistically
spine, man.
construct. One night I had been speaking somewhere, and a woman caught me at the close of the service, and she
Uh-oh.
was really unhappy with me and was giving me what for. And
She was probably telling you what a fucking creep you are and why you... She was probably asking you why you cover up, like, child molestation cases in your church and why you're such a fucking predator offender. And even if you didn't do any sex abuse, this guy, Paige Pedersen, at least covers it up.
I have that happen every once in a while, and I just sat there and listened, took my punishment, and standing right next to her was an older teenage boy, and he had a friend with him, and they were quite humiliated at what Mama was doing. They were looking at the floor and wishing that they weren't there, but she was under...
You know, maybe they were wishing they weren't there because they're fucking bored. They don't want to be in your boring-ass fucking church and listen to your boring-ass sermons, dude. They're bored and they're ready to go.
She was heading in for the kill, and she was working me over good. Well, about that time, a very attractive young co-ed walked by.
Oh my God, don't, dude.
About
He's like fucking 60 or something. What the fuck are you doing, you fucking creep?
16, but let me just...
Wait.
And she wasn't more than about 16, but let me just say... she was nice. And
why don't you take a seat right over there?
She walked by. They didn't think that Mama was paying any attention to them. And one young man turned to the other one and he said, "Man, is she built."
That's probably what he was thinking. Man, was she built? He's probably ogling this poor young girl.
In the middle of the sentence, she stopped, wheeled around, slapped a hand over his mouth, loosened his teeth, said, "Young man, don't you ever say anything like that again. If you do, I'll mop up the face of the earth with you." I saw my opportunity.
What the fuck?
I said, "Ma'am, leave him alone. He is just being biblical." That's exactly what the Bible says.
What? The Bible says, tell a girl she's built. That's some wise words from Pastor Paige Pedersen. Like I said, all this Christianity stuff, it rots your brain. It turns you dumb, ladies and gentlemen, and you laugh at this kind of corny shit. It wasn't funny, it was just corny. It was like, haha, you fucking objectified a 16-year-old girl. Thank you. Thank you, Baptist blogger, for, archiving this. I think it's disgusting. The guy's a fucking creep. All these Baptist pastors are. They're all creeps. So that being said, Dankey out. End of part 3, I guess.